Carl. Lord have mercy.
I just caught that woo girl.
Okay, good. Welcome back to Jacob V Weekly. We want to remind you, as always, check out Caddyshack of Hamel, Illinois, CATTYSHACKIL.org. Save a life, or 9. The Patreon is about to be a really exciting place. I've really been developing how I want to capture live concerts of, original music on video in a way that's meaningful. And we sell some of those whole sets that I, shoot and mix and master and all that stuff myself. And then of either Blinded by Stereo or No Antics, but I'm also going to have stuff coming from Kirkos, Secret Formula. I did 7 sets this weekend. So if you're not at patreon.com/JacobV, there's going to be a lot of really entertaining stuff there. You get it all for free, included in the membership, which is $4 a month, and that supports this show directly, but I also give you that content to hold you over. We got a very exciting episode we shot this afternoon with my friend Za. That's coming up, and you'll see it first on patreon.com/JacobV before you see it anywhere else. So, Lucius, how was your holiday?
It was great.
I mean, my God.
Honestly, probably one of the best holidays in recent years.
You have nieces and nephews.
I do, yeah.
And they're how old?
So I have 6.
God, that's fun.
2 oldest, 10. 2 middles, 8. And then there's 6 and 3.
Wow, what a blessing.
Blessings.
And so you got to do meaningful Christmas stuff with them.
Yeah, I did like my brother's side of Christmas during Thanksgiving. In a way, that's when we spent time together.
Yeah, well, because when you have small kids, you have to make the choice that we're going to travel like every other, if there's travel involved. He lives out of town.
Yeah, Kansas City area.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
I love a holiday in Kansas City. There's a neighborhood in Kansas City proper, I guess north of where you would have lived.
Yeah.
Where Clay's girlfriend at the time, her sister lived with her husband. They had a big, beautiful house at a lovely, very green neighborhood. But there, like in like the city part, I can't remember what it's called. It's been so long. Kansas City, the folks, though, there's stuff there that's great. No Antics has been there on tour. You could see that show on patreon.com/JacobV, for example, as we were talking. Yeah, that's part of the thing. And then with my family, it was a real challenge because we've always had to have so many different Christmases, and they kind of move around all the time. And now Clay and I are both married, and then both of our parents are divorced. Mm-hmm. And then, so everybody has different Christmas traditions, and it's always a point of contention to try to make all that stuff happen.
And that's what Kayla and I were talking about the other day, is that I think what was so nice this year is that everybody's timelines came in so succinctly, where I could have my time with my brother's family during Thanksgiving, time with my sister's family during Christmas, and then time with her family.
But then you have the problem.
Christmas
this happens sometimes with my family, where you plan, okay, we'll see you on Saturday and we'll see you on Sunday. The actual holiday is Tuesday, and then so we see this person that day and this person that day. But then people want more, and then people get frustrated because they're like, oh, you're choosing these people over these people, and it's really hard to win. And if everyone fucking stayed married. Mm-hmm. Not that that's what I wanted either, though. It's an impossible situation.
Yeah. I had a really fun time with gift giving this year to my nieces and nephews, because the ones in Kansas City, unfortunately, I can't. I like to do experiences with my nieces and nephews. Like for their birthdays, I'll take them out somewhere and make a core memory instead of giving them something. Yeah. Like with my niece this year, we went to the Taylor Swift concert, which is the Taylor Swift impersonator group, and they did a fantastic fucking job. It was at the Family Arena. They had full production.
Thing, I think.
Yeah, Sinead Angel.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great, fantastic.
She's really great.
Yeah, and they had fake snow. They had fire. They had the sparks. It was so good. And that was like her first concert that she'd ever been to, so that was great. And then her 2 brothers, I took them to go paint some pottery. Which is fun. With them, I have to do non-competitive things because they're very competitive.
That's healthy.
Children.
That's good for you to recognize that and not get in the middle of it.
Yeah, we've learned that from whatever, video games or
that's so funny, though. That's what those pottery places are for.
Yeah, it was a great time, and they loved it.
Yeah, and you have something. And,
Yeah.
It's not a skill they do a lot. It requires just a little bit of infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done my fair share of that.
But my brother's kids, like, I was able to spend that time during Christmas to get to know them this year and figure out what gifts that they wanted. So we gave the two older girls a magic set from like National Geographic. And for one of their birthdays, we gave them like a science experiments. Like they love doing like just stupid experiments with like Dawn soap and water and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so we just kind of like, we love to feed into that stuff.
No, and I think that's part of the thing too. Like my nursery at home for my forthcoming infant is not full of toys, but it is full of books and things that lead to meaningful like moments that you have to do together.
And then the smallest one, the 3-year-old, really wanted the fart gun from Minions, and so I had to oblige. I know nobody else was going to get her that, and so
nobody's getting her the fart gun from the Minions. Let that baby have her fart gun.
Let her have her fart gun. I was absolutely honored to be able to give that to her.
That's so beautiful. My holiday was full of excitement. Step one, in my home, we have what is called a steam boiler for heat.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a couple things I do like about this. One, my steam boiler was built in 2016, so it's not like the system itself is geriatric. It's just more of a primitive form of heat, but it's really good for a lot of things. It's really effective. It's really good for your skin. Also, because it's steam and not just a hot water boiler, I don't have, like radiators, I have to bleed. Because what happens is the steam heat travels into these big kettle-y things in the wall, like where the radiator would be, like when you're picturing an external radiator.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things I like about that. However, it quit working one day because it was stopping itself because it had a low water sensor going off. And it turns out that there's a thing on a steam boiler called a steam return, which is a pipe that comes off. It allows for excess pressure steam to be released in a peaceful way, right? So it's a big elbow that comes out, and then there's this little copper thing at the top, and just if it gets too much pressure going in there, it could do that. Well, that pipe rusted out.
Oh, wow.
So I had water traveling across my basement, and then it stopped, luckily, because I had a mechanical switch, not an electrical switch. Or maybe the other way around.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you were able to turn it off, is what you're saying. Or something.
It turned itself off. It didn't cause
Gotcha.
continuous flooding. If it had been a mechanical switch, I think it would have just allowed itself to continue flooding.
Yeah.
And that would have been more of a problem.
Yeah.
But I have, my father-in-law is an HVAC expert, and then my brother and my father are both carpenters. So I was able to use my influence with my wife being 8 months pregnant to get all that stuff done. So that by the time Hoffman Brothers showed up after Christmas, they just had to do some routine maintenance on the thing, get some gunk out of it.
Oh, nice.
See, my pigtail was all clogged up, and I needed a new valve.
Yeah.
And that's all real shit. The guy named Tony told me. I guess he lives in like coastal Maine or maybe Louisiana or something. He said they have steam boilers in restaurants down there.
Interesting.
If you're steaming large volumes of crabs or scramps, fresh. Oh,
yeah.
And then I get the heat fixed right before Christmas. Christmas happens. The night of Christmas, I wake up 1 a.m. going into the 26th, and something's wrong with Lewis. And he's pacing and he's drooling. We don't know exactly what happened, but we know something's definitely wrong. And Oswald's not letting us go back to sleep. So I go to the Kirkwood Emergency Animal Clinic on Big Ben there. And they immediately, he walks himself in there, but they immediately come and tell me, so he's like he has a surgical need type of condition.
Wow.
And they explain he's experiencing something called bloat, where his stomach turns upside down. It could happen if they swallow a lot of air or whatever. I think he fell off the bed with a gut full of water and dinner and flipped his stomach. Now, but without needing anything from me.
That's that Marley and Me fucking thing.
They told me where to go. They said, if you take him to VSS about 13 minutes from here, he's got like a 50-50 chance to make it.
Yeah.
Because it's fatal if it just stays that way.
Sure.
And it's my wife's dog.
Yeah.
So I rush over there.
Been around forever. How old is Lewis?
Yeah, he's 11. He's going to be 12.
Yeah.
And we just lost his brother to cancer that had spread to his spleen. And so we were really scared because if we force him to go through surgery to try to save him and we discover he's full of cancer, then it's going to be wasteful, not just of the money that it would cost, but the suffering on his part.
Yeah.
But they did the x-rays at the second place and came back out and explained exactly how it possibly happens and whatnot. And it's going to be, a couple of thousands of dollars to do the surgery, but he could absolutely survive it. And I got approved for like the financing or whatever, so they were able to start before I actually had to give them any money. They didn't have to wait for me.
Yeah.
But I did have to figure out. It took several minutes to figure out how to get $3,000 at 3 a.m.
Right.
And the other option is, just kill him.
Right. Yeah.
And we were able to figure something out, and we thought that was only going to be half of it. But then I finally get home. I get him what I think is half down of what's going to be, I think, a $6,000 surgery. And then I can't sleep. The other dogs are upset. This has been really traumatic. I'm crying in this place at 3:30 in the morning trying to figure out how to help, what to do. And then, but then when I finally pay him, I say, well, should I try to see him first? Because I have no idea what's going on back there. And they came out, and she walkie-talkied them and said, do you want to see Lewis? And and the nurse came out and said, well, he's actually already in surgery, which made me feel better because that means they didn't wait to see if my card was going to go through.
Right.
They knew that I was going to figure it out. And apparently we got there like just in time.
Wow.
If we had let that go, if we just gone to bed and just let him walk it out, he would have just died in the living room and we would have woken up and he would have been deceased.
Yeah.
So I've told this story before. He's the dog that made me decide it was okay for me to have dogs. Because I grew up on both sides of this issue. My dad always had dogs. My mom never wanted a dog.
Yeah.
Because her parents always had dogs. And I spent a lot of time with them. My grandparents, when I was a child, would have as many as 4 dogs at a time. And my therapist told me when I first started dating Keenan, she said, well, if you like this person and she's a dog person, you're going to have to become okay with that. You're not going to trick her into never having a dog again.
Right.
And so Lewis was the dog that I had to really bond with to overcome that prejudice in myself. I decided, okay, you know what? It's not a deal breaker for me to have a relationship with somebody who has a large dog. That's, a part of their life that they have to have limitations around. Because it wasn't that foreign to me. But and it was so sudden because it was really like a traumatic injury, I feel like.
Yeah.
They called me when I had gotten home. He was in surgery, blah, blah, blah. I don't know when I'm going to hear from them. I don't know if I'm allowed to go to sleep. And then they call me at 5:30 and they said, he's recovering nicely. Everything went perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Not, we got in there and realized he's full of tumors or something. He doesn't have any of that. Like, I was terrified.
It's just like a one-off.
Yeah, I was terrified it was going to be $3,000 to find out he was going to, suffer and die anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case. He's been having to sleep on his own in the dining room on our new giant dog bed we got him because he can't jump off and on the bed right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, you would never know anything really happened to him.
Wow.
It's absolutely insane.
Wow. Lucky.
It was the day after Christmas.
Wow. So his stomach had flipped. That's
inside. It flips over like upside down.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you wait too long, the tissue will start to die. He won't get oxygen to his vital organs, and so it's something you got to catch right away. But he had minimal bruising, minimal bleeding.
And what do you have to do?
He's got stitches that are kind of self-sterilizing or something they call it, and I think maybe he has a follow-up appointment where they'll check on his incision mostly and make sure, they'll do some blood work to make sure it doesn't have anything going on. But he's fine. He's eating regular food.
Yeah.
He was eating regular food again 2 days later.
Nice.
But now I'm spacing out his food too. I don't give him unlimited access to water and I don't give him tons of food at once.
Yeah.
And just to minimize bloating.
Oh, okay.
Because,
that's what could cause it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Air in the stomach or a mixture of liquid and air and solids, which is probably what happened because he eats real fast. So he's going to be fine.
Yeah. That's so wonderful.
But it's fucking crazy.
A Christmas miracle.
I mean, that's what I kept saying all week. It's a goddamn Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
And it turns out we did the right thing. It was not his time to go. So I have seen dogs persist in defiance of God, and this is not that case. We have the script here for the news story. Don't let me forget that. And
Is that our copy?
that's, I guess. I hope she knows she left it here.
Yeah.
And my baby's too big.
Baby's too big.
I got a baby coming. She already weighs like 7 pounds. That's all my fault. I feel terrible. My poor wife is suffering. She's so full of baby right now. And it was her idea. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not like imposing this on her against her will. But she didn't know what she was signing up for. She was complaining the other day. She was on the floor trying to sort through something. And she said, "Go ahead and have a baby. It'll be great." Blah, 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 blah. And however, she's frustrated is the cutest thing to me. And I can show you, we did the 3D scans and whatnot. It's all very, very exciting. I spent most of my Christmas break setting up the nursery. Any of my meaningful Christmas gifts were baby related. So this baby's already spoiled.
That's great.
And viable. She could come out right now. I hope she doesn't. Praise God. Oh, this looks like this might be real wood on these handles.
What handles? They should be.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes.
Praise.
Those are vintage.
He woke me up this morning. Also, since the new year, terrorism is on the rise. I'm not for that.
Not for that.
I'm not for that. Can we not? With the terrorism. And, but also the CIA does podcasts now mostly, and they've been telling us this might happen. Apparently, the terrorists can get in through the southern border. That sounds about as crazy as Donald Trump saying that Kamala wants to give people transgender surgery in jail, but apparently that's what's happening. Not the jail part, the border thing with the terrorists.
Yeah.
But so keep your head on a swivel out there. The story. If you're on Twitter, you would think the world is on fire all the time. So I hope nobody but me has notifications turned on Twitter, because I get the most horrifying updates. You would think
I can't do that.
Yeah,
that'll ruin my whole moment.
You don't want it. And there's just so much garbage on here. It's like, how are you supposed to know what's happening? And here's the thing. I'm starting to think, remember the $2 trillion that they identified was missing the day before 9/11?
I don't remember that, but you're telling me
Donald
right now.
Rumsfeld gave some kind of address where he identified that the Pentagon was missing $2 trillion.
Was it Dr. Evil?
No, I think it could have something to do with a documentary I purchased on Amazon today called $2
trillion.
Battle for Disclosure by Dr. Stephen Greer is about the ongoing debate we've been having in Congress and on the news and on social media and here on this show about the abuse of confidentiality or secrecy in the government or adjacent organizations. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney made billions of dollars off of a country that he told everybody to throw bombs at. So what Dr. Stephen Greer is saying is that people like Luis Elizondo are representing the government, trying to release information about this issue in a way that shields the things that the government has been doing that is illegal. The truth might be that we have been having contact with alien civilizations since the 1940s, but we have black shelved or kept in secrecy a lot of the technology we've shared with them. And so a lot of the things that people experience that may be aliens may also be alien reproduction vehicles used by people like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and whatnot. And that maybe those secret organizations could be using their advanced technology that they've been shielding from the people to fake an alien invasion to subvert power.
Yeah.
It seems like there is controlled opposition in play with people like Luis Elizondo, where he wants people to believe that we are experiencing a national security threat because we can't do anything against these vehicles. But it also seems like if you track a lot of this history and the whistleblowers, of which there are 700 something whistleblowers in Dr. Stephen Greer's database of this project he's working on that's covered in this documentary, that the issue is one, it's really hard to protect people that want to come forward when the people that maybe don't want them to come forward are some of the most powerful and violent people ever. It also seems like if anyone introduced violence into the conversation with aliens, it was us.
Yeah.
It seems like we have probably killed people pretending that we were aliens. And we being somebody acting under some form of authority even if it's a secret project. So, but here's what I'm saying is, if everything Dr. Stephen Greer is saying is true, maybe $2 trillion wasn't just stolen. Maybe it was funneled into these top secret projects which have no oversight, and that's what makes them illegal. Dr. Stephen Greer's point is that there's a law right now where you have a 6-month window of amnesty. And also, even if you signed an NDA, if the activity covered under that NDA is illegal, the NDA is invalid.
Yes.
An NDA, that's the problem with the Diddy thing. It's like, well, everything I saw him do after I signed it was illegal.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if I signed an NDA. So Dr. Stephen Greer wants whistleblowers to know that they can come forward, even, especially now.
Despite their NDAs, right?
Yeah, right. Despite the NDAs and with amnesty for anything they may have done to perpetuate the illegal secrecy. Because there's a difference. Like, we know the government has nuclear weapons. We don't know where they keep them all. We don't know how to launch any of them ourselves. I don't know how to build one in my garage.
Yeah.
And I don't have access to all of the essential materials. But I know that they exist and what they're for. Right? I think that's part of the problem that they're trying to illuminate for us, is that it's not that we want everyone to have a 0-point electromagnetic energy generator. It's not that we don't want people to have certain things, but it's that we can't release things that can be weaponized so easily because they're so transcendent of our current technological limitations.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next point. Drums or flats?
Flats.
Okay, here's my problem. I don't understand why people have this urge to choose between them.
Well, that's because the flat experience is a little bit better.
I do think the flat is better.
Yeah.
But I've never ordered somewhere where they gave me an option. You can ask for all of one or the other, but I feel like that's a dick move because I've never seen it on the menu.
There are definitely places that you can. I know this because Kayla has talked about it one time before, but I don't remember where. I don't know if it's like a Hooters thing or if it's like...
Yeah.
Because I know...
Well, Hooters used to do the whole wing. They didn't separate the drum and the flat.
That is true, yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I want them separate, but I want an equal number of both of them.
Yeah.
I enjoy the mix of both.
I don't think you can do that at B-dubs, though.
I get boneless at B-dubs because it's all garbage anyway. I'm there for the sauce. Fucking fill me up. Shovel it in my ass.
For the sauce.
It's not unlike the transcendent genius of Tina Turner.
Yeah.
In that she started off in a really rootsy, raw kind of vintage aesthetic with her career, and then totally thrived in the opposite aesthetic in the 1980s. She didn't have to choose.
I'm looking to see where you can just buy flats.
For a while, at Wingstop you could get thighs.
Oh yeah, you can do that at Hooters or Buffalo Wild Wings. You can ask for
Yeah,
them.
but I just think one, it's wasteful to exclude one from the other, especially because now mostly it seems like everyone's acting like they prefer flats. When I was a kid, everyone wanted drums.
That's true.
Remember?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I prefer flats. Like the eating experience, I have it down.
The meat is different.
I peel the bone. I separate the two bones at the top. I peel the weaker of the two out. I take that whole bone with all of the chicken meat on it expertly. I put it in my mouth and I withdraw it, and there's no chicken.
Yeah.
And that is as close to the kingdom of heaven as I can get on a normal day. Now, every now and then, I like to switch that up with a drum. Drums come in weird shapes. Sometimes you get a real big one. Sometimes you get a really long one. Sometimes they have a hook in it for no reason. Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've always loved the flats. The drums, I do appreciate a drum. If it's there, I'm going to eat it. But the meat distribution's a little different. You know, you get
that nice surface of the skin on the flat.
Yeah. You get to
because here's the
dig
move.
In there, put your tongue through each of the bones.
You do like the Cajun hot sauce at Wingstop, right? Which is really good. And then lemon pepper sprinkle on that. That chicken skin, when it emerges from the fryer and it's spun lovingly in a steel bowl, it has this lovely sheen of Cajun chicken sauce. And then you get that crackling lemon pepper, baby, on that skin, daddy. And I just think that's what gives me hope in the universe. And I know that, life on this planet or in this realm is a net positive.
Yeah.
And I think people have a toxic urge to like rank or like desert island things. You and I, coming from the guitar business, we know this is it's like a huge part of the conversation. People just like to stand around stuff and talk about what if you could only have one. Meanwhile, none of them have just one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, I think, why I don't struggle with people that aren't like me. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy the mix.
Yeah.
To say drums are flats, it seems a little Aryan to me.
Sure. Yeah. Very one-sided.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They come from the same part of the same bird.
Mm-hmm. But we also live in America and, are free to have these choices.
Wow.
It's America.
So, this Diddy thing's kind of cooling off. I think we're on a break. Apparently, he freaked out in jail the other day.
Oh, really?
I don't know what about. He probably doesn't like being in jail. He has so few drugs. I can't even check the news without an ad for 0% APR on something. Guys, it's a trap.
It's a trip.
It's a trap. We talked about the terrorism. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Alfred put together something for me on that, Alfred. He knows all about it, I'm sure. My God, alcohol's causing cancer now.
Hasn't it always?
But a doctor said it on CNN now. Jill Biden got a $20,000 diamond from a foreign leader as a gift.
Interesting. Bloody? Can only assume.
It has to be. It's a gift from a foreign land.
Yeah.
Somebody died on that diamond.
Yeah.
I can't quit seeing that picture of the Cybertruck burning in front of Trump Tower.
Yeah, so where are we at on that? What are the...
That one's weird. That guy shot himself before he detonated the vehicle. I don't know how he detonated it or why. I think that was a Caucasian gentleman who had some military experience, which is always a red flag for me. I also think the deep state that we've talked about in connection to assassinations and like JFK and MLK and stuff like that is not not involved
Yeah.
in the illegal UFO operations that we were talking about before. I think George H.W. Bush told Bill Clinton, this stuff is none of your business. Even though Bill Clinton was the president at the time, he went asking about this.
Yeah.
The message, at least sent by George H.W. Bush, was none of this stuff has anything to do with you. Because whatever Dick Cheney did with Halliburton in Iraq is the same thing George H.W. Bush did, probably per his father's vision, with the CIA and a lot of these covert operations, names of which we probably don't even know. And he seemed so harmless by the end with a single-term presidency, but really his time in the office was not even really the full peak of his power and his influence. And I think Dick Cheney was a lot more like him than his own son was.
Interesting. Yeah.
If you look at how Dick Cheney behaved during Operation Iraqi Freedom and how George H.W. Bush positioned himself with a lot of this secret illegal shit that they keep doing for the past 100 years behind the scenes. If you look at that whole dynasty, they're not different things. They're a part of the same behavior.
Yeah.
And then also we've seen issues where these organizations use this technology that they've developed with no oversight and concealed from the American people illegally, to do illegal things to raise money for their illegal operations, trafficking drugs or even people, using some of these technologies that we've reverse engineered from otherworldly origins and now use for evil in secret instead of using them for. This guy also seems to think the same technology can be used for free energy in a way that would completely heal the planet and poverty.
Yeah.
But we know they don't want to do that. And I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could tell who does the gas around here? Spire. If I could tell Spire to go fuck off for good because I got a 0-point generator in my house, the amount of emphasis I would put on the F and go fuck yourself, Spire, cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
I hate them so much. They have cut my gas off twice because I couldn't get an appointment with them to come look at something in my house.
Oh, wow.
Because they only work between the hours of 8 and 2.
That's crazy.
So sometimes they're there when I'm leaving for work, but they're never there when I get home. They're always gone by the time I get home.
Yeah.
And so if the aliens could give me a fucking generator so I could tell Spire to fuck off, that would be great. Shout out to Dr. Stephen Greer, not a sponsor, but I would love, if I had $20,000 right now, next week in this very room, I would have Dr. Stephen Greer and Big Homie CC, who is still my favorite authority on all things whistleblowing, evil Hollywood Scandalonium. Scandalonium?
Scandalonium.
Is that a word?
I have no idea.
There's no way that's a word.
Yeah.
It's about to be. The Scandalonium is the ongoing
How would you even spell that?
persistence of scandals.
Scandalonium.
Yeah, I want to leave scandal alone. Yeah, O-N. Nobody has ever said this. Scandium is a chemical element. Scandalonium is not a thing. A rare earth metal of group 3, scandium. But Scandalonium is just the phenomenon of numerous scandals persisting at once. A lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah.
With the devil and the devil's business.
The devil.
With Satan. Every time I'm here with you, I can't remember the guy's name, but did you get that TikTok I sent you of that pastor that thinks he's going to live to be 120 years old?
The pastor?
He's like a mega he's like the televangelist guy.
Okay, is it the same guy who's like reversing his age to 18 or something? Okay.
No, but whenever I'm with you, I cannot remember this guy's name.
Oh, okay.
Kenneth Copeland.
We serve, and we walk in the shadow of the Almighty. I have made an entered covenant with God, and on December the 6th, 2056, I'll see you all later. I'm out of here. 120 years old. we serve.
Oh, that's just repeating it. So it's crazy. He's saying he's going to live to 2056, and he looks old as shit. Kenneth, I think, Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland.
Look him up. He looks, just because I need you to see his face.
Yeah.
He's a problem.
You know what? Yeah, we have talked about that.
We've definitely talked about him. It's really hard for me to remember his name. So that's his latest thing, is he thinks that he has made a covenant with God that he shall live to preach this gospel until he reaches the age of 120 years old, just the day after Christmas.
Why would you make such promises? And then you're probably going to die in like the next 5 years.
Me and Keenan both agree we do not want to live to be 120.
No. Hell no.
Anything after 70 is an absolute gift. And anything after 80 is pushing it. And once I hit 90, let me go to bed.
I'm going to bed.
Let Daddy go to bed. I'm 90. That's 60 more years from now. What the fuck? I'm going to do 2 more of these tours I've already been on? Do you know how much I've changed? Do you know how much I've lost? I'm so tired of shitting.
So tired of shitting.
It's just so stupid. It's so gross and unnecessary.
Yeah.
Why did we stop there? We were developing the toilet and we got to a certain point and we said, oh, that's good enough. I don't think it is good enough. I think I need more out of my toilet than what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to sponsor the show who makes some kind of a toilet enhancement technology, I'm open to that because I'm ready for change. I'm ready for just to feel clean again.
Just to feel clean.
And, fuck. What are you looking at over there?
I'm looking at that Wayne Osmond died 2 days ago, who's a sibling of Donnie and Marie. I don't know why it popped up.
Can you imagine being
up.
the other one?
When I was looking at Kenneth Copeland, it came up. Trending artist. Yeah. I think he's the first of the Osmond siblings to pass.
Wow.
He died on January 1st, 2025. Yeah. But
he had a covenant with the Lord.
Yes. This guy's eyes are crazy.
Kenneth Copeland? Yeah, I think he had a bad facelift because sometimes that'll create this separation within the ring of your eye where it looks like you're wearing a mask of your own face.
Yeah.
I had a 7th grade teacher that did that. She had like a bad facelift or an early facelift, and in Kenneth's case, it may be both. But it makes it look like he looks like the lead singer from Ghost when he has his mask on. Mm-hmm. Like he looks like the bad guy in the movie Mask when he puts the green mask on and becomes his Loki-ized version of himself. He's got that big square jaw and that crazy face.
Yeah.
That's what Kenneth Copeland looks like in real life. And he bought Tyler Perry's plane because Tyler Perry made it so unbelievably affordable for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But he's never paid taxes.
Yeah. No, church stuff. It's a church plane. This plane's for Jesus.
I just feel like I worry about the world at large because my world's going to get a little bit smaller for a while.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to have time to work on JFK and the aliens when I have an infant.
Right.
And so I need you guys to be working on the JFK thing and the infant thing for the next few months.
Yeah. It looked like you were smoking out of the bowl part of it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see you as a dad.
I'll have to bring her in here when it's when it's my day.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, she'd be fine in here.
She'd be fine.
Ain't nobody bother.
I'll hold her.
Yeah, she can sit over there. She's got a back and play. She's got a very fancy stroller.
Yeah.
Car seats. When I have the baby, I get to drive the Volvo.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're not putting that baby in that Grand Marquis, that's for sure.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess that's not going to happen.
No.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I've been plowing out this content like crazy. So I'm going to span a lot of the footage and different things I've been collecting across the Patreon for the next few weeks. And then, I'm going to try to bank episodes of the show a little bit, get a little bit ahead there.
Yeah.
I may have to shoot a couple of these at home, but, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I also just did that renovation in my basement, so I have to. It's not like my studio is ready to go because it's all on one side of the room now. So we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
The show is the easiest thing to do compared to everything else.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna end up taking the whole semester off of gigging, and that's a bummer. But I've made up for it.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, I have a fucking baby.
You have a fucking baby.
What are we talking
You're
about
a dad
here?
now.
In this economy? Platypus? With my baby?
With your baby? I mean, put some headphones on her. She'll be fine. But
I don't know. Some people are always like, they say that they can't create a true seal because their heads are too small.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry. I don't want to. You don't want to put her in positions where.
Yeah.
Damage here.
Yeah. I'm worried one of my aunts is going to try to keep her.
Yeah, oh, really?
One of my aunts asked me, so should I be building a nursery at my house? I said, you're my aunt.
Yeah. That's awesome.
She did that with me, though, when I was a baby. People would say, oh, your baby is so beautiful. And she would say, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother's kids looked a lot like me. I still kind of do. Because me and my brother look a lot alike.
You guys look like your dad.
Yeah, but honestly, we both look like a really great mix of both of them. I think probably more my mom, honestly.
Oh, good.
My sister looks a lot like my dad.
Yeah, I'm not good
his
with
side
faces.
of the family. Yeah.
So, there is going to be some things I'm going to have to miss. This is part of what I was talking to you about with Ableton earlier, is that I wish I could create a digital version of myself to perform for the next few months, because if I was a real man, all of my parts for all of my songs for all of my bands would be on tracks with a click that they could all play to.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to miss me. Because I hate when they miss me, because I just feel like I'm letting somebody down.
Yeah.
But, there's a number. There's a number in mind.
Oh, yeah.
You put enough zeros on it, I could abandon my family.
Sure.
But we're
Take off
talking
to the
multiple
West Coast.
zeros. And so it's already probably out of our operating budget currently.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We all make choices.
Choices.
And my dog is healthy, and my heat works.
That's great.
And I got 2 brand new toilets in my house this year. So
That's toilet upgrade is, don't overlook it.
it's so stupid. It's
so
like when you're
nice.
young, you don't want to spend any money on your mattress or something. It's
Yeah.
like the only thing you have to use every day.
Yeah.
Unless you're a fucking degenerate and you're passing out on the living room floor.
Yeah.
Don't get the cheapest possible mattress. Maybe
No.
that's not the move.
No.
Maybe that's not the way.
Yeah.
Maybe the way is the second cheapest. Start to show yourself what you're inching towards.
Well, yeah, it's, you spend
Get a coupon.
a third of your day on it. No. So
I mean, maybe you.
that's more like half my day.
In bed?
No.
You'll get bed sores.
I bet sores. But I mean, 8 times 3 is 24, is it not? I don't know. I can't do math. But
You can't do that math.
I can't.
You can't do 8 times 3?
I can't do 8 times
You're
3.
like my 5th graders over the summer.
Yeah.
They were trying to do double-digit subtraction with both their hands.
Oh, really? Yeah, you gotta
Double-digit subtraction. 27 minus 11. Let me start by counting.
add your toes to that.
Well, I bet she was. So that's why I just raise that up in prayer anymore.
How did you select your toilets? My dad selected. I have a distinct memory of him walking through Home Depot and seeing that a toilet could flush 22 golf balls, and he said, "22 golf balls, no shit," and bought it right on the spot. And it was the best fucking flushing toilet. Rarely a clog.
22 golf balls at once?
At once.
I'd buy that right on the spot, too. They still
Yeah.
make that one?
They upgraded to 9 billiard balls.
Is that as impressive as 22 golf?
The size alone, you would think like a 1 billiard ball wouldn't be able to go down.
My question to you at home is, who needs that?
You know,
You need 9 billiard balls to flush at once? What are you wiping with? Billiard balls?
it's not even about the toilet paper as much as it is about the excrement.
If you're shitting hard, solid billiard balls, I need you to not call me, go straight to the hospital and show them what's happening. They may tell you you're fine. They may ask you some questions I'm not going to ask you, like about your diet, your medical history, your medications,
Yeah.
traffic in the area of your ass where the balls are coming out of.
Your diet, probably.
I think for some of these people that end up in the ER shitting billiard balls, I don't think it stops at the diet.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you ever wonder, like, did 50 Cent know that was Amanda Bynes at his residency the other day?
I could not imagine that he did.
Because Amanda Bynes did a photo op with 50 Cent, and the people making the TikTok were like, she was talking to him about her new movie or whatever, but I'm wondering if he even knows who he was talking to.
Right.
Look up 50 Cent, not you, the audience, 50 Cent, Amanda Bynes. We were talking about Nickelodeon earlier, were we not?
I don't remember.
I was talking to somebody about
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon today, and I loved Amanda Bynes when I was a kid. She really seemed like a comedic genius of my generation, and somebody messed her up, and now she's weird.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pray for her. And she was at 50 Cent's Las Vegas residency this weekend, and they have a picture together. But he looks bewildered. Like, who is this? Who is Amanda Bynes? Is she okay? Does she know she's here?
Is this young lady okay?
Ma'am, do you need a ride? Ma'am, let my people take you home. Or wherever you stay at a facility. But what was the soccer one? Was it She's the Man?
Better like Beckham? No. Oh, She's the Man. Yes.
That was soccer.
Yes, that was soccer. That is a queer awakening movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
The dressing up as the boy.
I thought she was cuter as a boy.
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely thought that was hard for me to reconcile.
Yeah.
In a community that was insisting that I was gay, but that being gay was bad. Mm-hmm. It was very weird.
Yeah, She's the Man is...
She's the Man was the
I used
shit.
to watch that a lot.
No matter what you have going on at home and in your family's personal dogma, She's the Man is the shit.
Yes.
Definitely watch that one. Yeah, I was talking about the Dan Schneider thing, and he made so much of the content that was essential to, my pre-teendom, that Nick at Night thing.
Yep.
And we aged out of that. Apparently, it only got worse. Like, that show Ariana Grande was on was, like, really dirty with the innuendos and the kind of pushing the line on that stuff, and which makes sense because it was later. Looking back on some of that stuff, I guess that makes some sense, but I felt like it was degenerative. His depravity got worse over time.
Yeah.
And emboldened by his isolation.
Yeah, nobody could challenge him.
There just wasn't any oversight. He was the guy. He was the only one that had ever had consistent success. So you just give him the keys of the kingdom. Like, as long as you keep bringing home hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
because nobody's watching him.
Yeah, and as that industry shrinks, you get singular people in charge of entire networks. Like Andy Cohen executive produces all of his content for Bravo now, which means he's kind of making their most essential content himself.
Yeah.
Per a price that he agrees to with Bravo. Mm-hmm. So at that point, is Bravo even really a thing? What is Bravo? It's like a department branch of whatever organization owns it, but it's really just the activities of this one guy and the people he hires to produce.
Yeah.
That's what Nickelodeon was with Dan Schneider for years. But why does a big fat white guy decide the central culture for, You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
weird.
No, I mean, that's just what it was.
Yeah.
Right?
You think you'd want a team.
Yeah, like a board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming together for those things. But I mean, like you said,
But again,
if
let
he's
him,
delivering.
yeah, especially the more success he has, let him do it.
Yeah. Like I'm sure people didn't want to mess with a creative genius that they would assume is.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wasn't chill.
Yeah.
You know, if they said, "Hey, Dan," he was probably like, "Wah, wah, wah."
Yeah.
Like his character from Good Burger.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Whales will sometimes wear a salmon as a hat,
What?
but they quit doing this for like 50 years, and they started doing it again.
Wearing a salmon as a hat
They'll take a dead salmon
and wear it as a
and
hat.
they'll keep it above their mouth on their face like a hat, like to be playful or to be cute.
Yeah.
And they'll do this in the wild. And it was observed like either 50 or 70 years ago. And they just started doing it again
Yeah.
after being observed doing it very
No,
infrequently for like a long time.
Yeah.
And it's
So their
precious.
sense of humor is coming back.
They're but I thought of it as like a fashion thing, like how
Yeah.
like people are wearing high-waisted shorts again.
Yeah.
Like it's the 1950s, but when I was in high school or middle school, everything was low rise, everything was boot cut. Now, you know, everything is slim cut or skinny shape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so different, and just that little bit of change of how big is the pant leg going to be.
Yeah, there it is. Orcas are wearing dead fish on their heads again.
Is it not just salmon?
They
I must have
they're
also read about
specifically
salmon.
saying salmon.
They are saying salmon?
Yeah, they said scientists baffled as orcas start wearing salmon as hats again for the first time in 40 years.
40 years.
40
Oh,
years.
good.
Yeah.
Can you give me some of that?
They say that we've been seeing male-eating killer whales carry large chunks of water or large chunks of food under their pectoral fin, kind of tucked in next to their body. That's crazy.
It's better to leave it rolling for the continuity.
Yeah.
Christ Jesus. You know, I can hold a lot of piss, but I make more than I can hold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, salmon and other fish as hats, out of fashion for 40 years, back on an
Back
orca
in
near
fashion.
you. So,
Salmon hats are in.
see, salmon hats are back amongst the orcae. Orcae, what's the plural in orcuses?
Orcas.
Orcacus.
It's just orcas.
Just orcas, huh?
Yeah.
Really great clip I saw.
As a former president, it could be 100, man. It's wild. Someone opened up a bottle in his honor called Wild Horse. It's a Merlot.
What the fuck is that?
So this is a guy called King Cobra, and he's doing a tribute to Jimmy Carter on his live stream, where he very slowly and clumsily opens a bottle of like the shittiest Merlot you can get at a gas station in honor of the late great Jimmy Carter, who died finally for real this time at age 100. and he had seen UFO
Oh, really?
and had a very complex relationship with that aspect of society thereafter, I think, is what I've read. And, you know,
It's hard out here for people who see UFOs.
yeah, I mean, because it's probably the government, and they're either going to tell you they don't know what it is, or they're going to come to your house and shoot you in the face.
Yep.
Those are your two options. I've been watching The Penguin on HBO.
Yeah,
I'm
I need
just
to
a couple
finish that.
episodes in, but I like it more than I thought I would like it. So it's from the same universe as the Robert Pattinson The Batman, and I did enjoy that film.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was a little light on the combat compared to what we're used to, I think, but it was definitely more of a noir. It wasn't combat free either. It was just, it wasn't like punch and kick and punch and kick and punch and kick, though there were some of those. But it was a darker, and that's the thing, I like them dark. I like that fucking, there was a guy who wrote some of this, Frank Miller maybe, wrote some Batman shit in the 80s that was really, really dark in a way that was very inspiring. It was very, because that's how Batman feels. That's why Batman fucks up his voice, is he feels darkness in his spirit, and he wants to use it to smite darkness in the streets. And Frank Miller really, really exploded that for me, I think. And so some of the Batman had some of that energy.
Some of the Batman.
The Batman. Now, and this Penguin is fun. It does not look at all like Colin Farrell, but it's the acting is good. It's not hard to watch. The acting can ruin it for me in a lot of things, and it's not one of those things.
It's not like overly like he's doing
It's better than Gotham,
and it's not like
Gotham was a little too CW.
Yeah.
Gotham was a little low budge on the talent delivery. There was some beautiful talent on screen. I just don't know that it was translated as well as I would have hoped. But the very first episode of The Penguin is worth it. Even if you don't want to commit to the whole thing, just go watch the first episode. It's just a fun
That's
vignette.
What hooked me for sure.
Give yourself that thing to watch the first episode of something as like a trailer. It's like a vignette. Is if they can get you.
You got.
My problem is I'm a real artistic apologist, and so I get got. They'll get me
really easy.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I watched like several seasons of Burn Notice.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Just because I'm an asshole, and it was always on when I was at Club Fitness that year. I was doing that.
Sure. That 1 year.
Oh. I saved this because this is Whitney Houston singing maybe my favorite song of hers, but On Top of the Pops. And On Top of the Pops was an English TV show where notoriously they would make you lip sync. They would just play the song and you would pretend to play along with it. And everyone's done this. Very rarely do they have an artist absolutely insist on doing it live. The White Stripes were one of those artists. Because them lip syncing to something doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then Whitney Houston, who was singing it differently on purpose to reveal the fact that, hey, I'm making them let me sing it live because I'm a diva.
Oh.
And she probably only did that because they told her she couldn't. So she said, well, I'm not doing it if I can't sing live. Not because she really wanted to,
right,
as much as you're not going to fucking tell me which one I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love that song. And this is in her Bob era.
Oh, I love that.
The sassiest era. I play this at the close of trivia every week at Bluewood a lot of the time. For Christmas instead, I played her version of Little Drummer Boy, which also features Bobby Christina Brown, R.I.P. And it's really long and kind of indulgent in a way that gets on some people's nerves, but I love it because 'tis the season. Not any longer though. It is the new year.
It is the new year.
Oh.
I had so much Christmas spirit this year, just trying to get through it. And I have happy memories of Christmas, and so
That's so important.
it's so nice to be able to kind of like lean into those, when the world is kind of shit,
Yeah, a
so-
lot of it was a political nightmare for me growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm resentful about that, but I'm trying to find
Christmas
forgiveness
is a
in my
political
heart.
nightmare.
Yeah, just when your parents are divorced
Mm-hmm.
and then his parents were divorced too. I mean, so there's
Sure.
even as a kid before either of us were married, and we also have in-laws to consider.
Right.
Luckily, they're all still married.
Yeah.
Because if we had, because if we all had 4 Christmases, that'd be 8 motherfucking Christmases.
Yeah.
That's too many
That's
Christmases.
too many Christmases.
And if anybody is not with you, you know what I mean? It's like, where are they? But,
Yeah.
I just want everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
We did end up doing the Uganda.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I made a whole flyer explaining it and whatnot. I originally sent it to my father and I said, hey, so I did something different this year. And I sent him the flyer I made because I didn't see him in person when I thought I was going to see him. So I sent it to him.
Yeah.
And he started off before I'd finished explaining. He said, I'm good. Thanks.
No.
I think he thought I wanted money from him. And then I explained to him, I said, no, this is not something I need you to do. This is something I'm doing with part of my Christmas budget. For like us, like as the Vedum checks, we can send a girl to school
Yeah.
and include in that all of the things she needs to go to school for a year.
Yeah.
For the price that it would take, for less than it would cost to take us all out to dinner,
Right.
with as many of us as there are. And then he turned around and he's like, "Oh, I'm proud of you. That's great."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but at first he thought I was asking him to
Sure.
to help out with a fundraiser.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the first word is Uganda, and he's like, "Do I even have to? What do I do with this?" You know what I mean?
Right.
It was not the case,
It was not. Yeah.
but turned it around. But yeah, that Christmas ended up. It's supposed to get split into 2 parts, and then the second part there was some confuddlement about the date or whatever. So I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a baby shower with them next week.
Oh, really?
So maybe we'll just bundle it up then. I don't know. It's
know.
just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy out here in these streets.
I know it.
And we're doing a baby shower at Pietro's.
What's that?
It's like the South City spot for like a
Banquets.
rehearsal dinner or it's like an Italian restaurant and bar,
Okay.
but like real old like only old people really go there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like old family
I
style.
think my grandparents got married there. Like in their banquet room in the basement, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. My grandparents had a special relationship with it for some reason. It's just funny because like the neighborhood we lived in for a long time before we moved to the county is right over by like Ted Drew's. Just on the other side of Ted Drew's from like where I live now. And it's not far from like where Pietro's is and like,
Yeah.
and then all those kind of like landmarks like that. Mm-hmm. I live right down the street from the Catholic school I got kicked out of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're in the
It's-
neighborhood.
Yeah, it's persisting that way. I hated my pediatrician, Dr. Motier, God rest him.
Yeah.
He was in Hampton Village upstairs in those medical offices.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just I hope I'm doing the right thing.
But with what?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think you are.
Good. Well, you
You donated to
That's
an
true.
organization just to help send a Ugandan.
You know what? And it
child
wasn't
to
as easy
school.
as I thought it would be because apparently the what's it called? The trust basically is a fundraising entity, but it's set up in the UK.
Yeah.
So you have to the easiest way, really, realistically, if you're like me, is to PayPal them. Otherwise, you have to do weird stuff,
Yeah.
which I think is part of why the Ethical Society sponsors them like that.
Right.
Because it's not the easiest thing in the world. Like an American company, they'll give you 10 different ways to get them their money, but
Yeah.
it must be good because it's overseas. It must be harder to steal.
Right.
I'd almost prefer that. If it's an international cause, let's get the money out of this
Get
country
it
as
out
quick
of
as
this.
possible.
Right.
I don't trust any of these people with it.
Hell no.
Around here, I wouldn't have a roll of nickels.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for checking out Jacob V Weekly. Stay tuned for a hot, crazy, transformative year of programming. And if you ever feel like there's a gap between episodes or there's like extra stuff you want to check out, patreon.com/JacobV. There's tons of it. Some of it there is free, and the free stuff is just a tiny taste of how psychotic it is behind the paywall. Because it makes it easy for me to dump all this energy into producing this stuff technically for free if I have a paywall to put it behind, right? These artifacts that you can buy there without a membership are like $10, $15, $20 a piece, but the membership is $4 a month and you get access to all of that stuff. So it just kind of makes sense. I'm not going to harp on that. I think I'm going to have to make a trailer, though, of some of the stuff that's on there. So people get like a sizzler.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I need to make like a 90-second sizzler.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe even shorter.
Yeah, no, 30.
30-second
30
sizzler?
seconds. 45 at the most. You know people don't have that time.
Yeah, but it really has got to be sizzling.
Yeah.
And I've been banking content, high resolution, beautiful content for the Patreon for when my baby gets here, so that there will be no gap in the Patreon. There never has been. There have been more posts in the Patreon of exclusive content than the weeks in which the Patreon has existed. Which means we're ahead.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get one exclusive drop of content a week, whether that's a song, a video, some whatever kind of thing we're doing that week. But we're ahead.
That's
so
great.
Patreon's where the action is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And after the other episode of the show that we recorded today, we may be in a deposition next week. I have no idea. I just felt like it was a real roller coaster.
Sure.
It's
a lot.
Lord.
You're juggling a lot.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
And I was in a public school all day today.
Yeah.
But we're going to be okay. And we love all of you. JacobV.com. I was just explaining to her how I centralize everything in that location. Now I'm dumping everything all over the place.
Yeah.
Merch, all kinds of stuff. Anything you want from anybody that I do anything with, you can find from JacobV.com. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week.